Hey guys, how's it going? And this will be part 15 of the Ultimate Guide to Dark Souls 2, where we're going to be covering Shaded Woods today.
And along with Shaded Ruins, we kind of lumped that all into the one thing.
Yeah, because other than that, the only reason to ever go through Shaded Woods again is to go to Drangleic or to go to Aldia's. It's kind of like Majula in the sense that it's only there as a way to go to other areas.
Yeah.
So, first thing we're going to do is speak to Sweet Shalquar because we need that Ring of Whispers. You're going to need that to talk to an NPC later on in the game.
Which gives us a pretty good item as well, so we definitely want to go for that.
Now, before you go any further, make sure you have a Fragrant Branch of Yore.
Yeah.
Now, you can get one of them, as you've seen in previous guide videos, you get one as soon as you defeat the Sinner. There is one available at the bottom of the gutter, between the gutter and the Black Gulch when you drop through the little acid pots, and Magirold and the Iron Keep sells one as well.
There's also two of them in Harvest Valley, just as there's
Yeah.
other ones as well, but that's just quickly things.
Yeah, but you want to have at least one of them. Two of them would be more than ideal, because two of them allows you to do everything in Shaded Ruins, which is kind of what you want to do at this point in the game, really.
So we're coming up to another important NPC called Benhart of Fuego. Now,
Benhart of Jugo, but we will refer to him as Benhart de Fuego.
His Mexican cousin.
Yeah, his Mexican alter ego.
So he's basically the second Lucatiel in the game. His quest is almost identical to Lucatiel's quest. Now, he's again a Melentiable NPC. If you kill him, he'll drop the Bloomin' Greatsword, but the rest
All
of
his armour.
Yeah, the rest of his equipment will be sold by Melentia in Majula. So you want to talk to him here, and then the next time you'll be able to speak to him is in Drangleic Castle.
And that'll be just after you beat double dragons.
Yeah, so the whole point of him is basically talk to him the 4 times, summon him in for 3 of the 4 bosses, and then you can talk to him a last time to get his equipment set. And we're obviously going to show you all of that in the coming videos.
Yep. Now at this point, by the way, just so you're taking these guys out, right, you're going to pull a lever and it's going to open the doors for more of these little goblins to drop down. If you have Alluring Skulls, then this would be a very good point to use them, because after you pull the lever, throw them back at the door from like the way you entered, all the goblins will go there, and then you can spin to win them with a halberd, which is probably the best way to go about it, but we're just probably going to take them on normally. Now, what we done just there was use a Fragrant Branch of Yore, whoops, don't do that, use a Fragrant Branch of Yore on Rosabeth. Now, she can upgrade your Pyromancy Flame, as well as you need her later on for some of the Iron Keep stuff, basically, to grab a few items in the Iron Keep.
We got her at the end of the Iron Keep video.
Yeah.
Basically, we forgot to do this, but you want to talk to her and give her
any piece of armour.
Any bit of armour or
that
armour
you're not going to use, yeah, because then she'll go back to Majula. When she goes back to Majula, if you haven't had enough NPCs at Majula yet, then Soldan will give you Soul Vessel.
Yeah.
Which you can't complain about.
Obviously, if you've been following the guide, he will already have gave you that, but this is how you get. That's how you get her to go back to Majula. I mean, you'll need to run here if you need to upgrade the Pyromancy Flame.
Yeah, so this is just basically covering old information again.
Yeah, so just give her a bit of equipment and talk to her, and she'll be in the Majula next time you go there.
So when you pull this lever, the door you came in from is going to close, and then this one right here is going to open. Now there is a delay, so you do have to fight the 4 goblins that drop down, which, by the way, while we're speaking about the goblins, they have the chance to drop Life Gem, S-Stock, Spear, Battle Axe, Longsword, Broadsword, and Rapier.
Yeah, so nothing that really matters, nothing that's unique.
Not at this point.
You can buy all that stuff regardless, but that is just the things that they drop.
Now, just don't let them swarm you. They do move quite erratically, and as you can see, they can poison you, and they have a mean as shit combo.
But they are pretty squishy as well, so it's not too much of an issue.
Now, just be careful in these rooms, because the halberd will deflect off of their ceiling if you use the one-handed or the two-handed light attacks. So at this point, we're just using the pokes, because we're not really fussed about it. Now, for some reason there, it didn't deflect, but the first time I was in this room, it did deflect off the ceiling, so...
So that raw stone that you saw got dropped there was actually a drop from the Basilisk, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah.
So, and here's an Estus Flask Shard, so you definitely want to grab this.
And on the other side, there's a bonfire.
And an item on the upstairs that you need to jump to as well, as you'll see here.
Yep.
So there's only items in this room, there's enemies in the other one, so just don't bother with the other rooms.
There's nothing in any of the other rooms, so we're just going to grab that. Now, because he's trapped behind the door, we're just going to go fuck him, get the bonfire, and then proceed onwards towards Shaded Ruins. Now, the problem with Shaded Woods is there are a few items in Shaded Woods which, by the way, aren't even listed in the official guidebook.
To be fair, they're not particularly important items, but items nonetheless.
Yeah, you bought the official guidebook so you can get 100% completion, but we've had to sort of interject our own information onto this again, because these items don't exist in the guidebook.
So, and like as everybody, probably the main reason why you came here is to see about the foggy area in Shaded Woods, and we do have methods of getting all the items in there.
It is difficult, so we've cut out all the sort of like wandering around trying to find our methods. But yeah, we've given you guys the clips that you need to use. Like, we've given you guys the clips that will show you the best orientation to go from in order to get the items that you want. So don't worry about that, guys. The video will chop from one clip to the other and shit like that, but that's supposed to be the way it is.
So just carrying on, killing these goblins and picking up the items. So here's a Faris Lockstone. So obviously you want to pick that up because we don't want to be backtracking for Lockstones later on in the game. Obviously the guide means that you don't need to do that as long as you're following us.
You'll finish the game with loads of spare Lockstones by the time the game is done. So don't worry. It means if you are going to go through NG+, then it means that you're always going to have a supply of Lockstones if you choose not to go through a certain area or do a certain thing. Yeah. Then you still have resources available from your first go around the game because they give you far more Lockstones than you could ever fucking want to use.
So obviously these goblins are pretty easy, and now we're going to rest at this bonfire, and there's an NPC coming up here again.
Creighton?
Yeah, Creighton.
This is the second encounter. Now the first time you spoke to him it was in Huntsman's Copse. He was in the little the bonfire room that you had to get the key to get into the cell. He's at war with Pate basically. Just exhaust his dialogue, rest at the bonfire. If you've exhausted his dialogue, then when you rest and go back up, he'll be gone.
And the next time, and obviously if you spoke to him and you spoke to Pate, then they will both be fighting when you get to
Sildora.
Yep. But that's, you'll see that part of the quest in the Sildora video.
Which is only a couple of areas from now because it'll be Shaded Ruins, it will be Doors of Faris, and then it'll be Sildora. Yeah. So do not worry about that, that's 2 parts away from now.
So this isn't technically the way to go to get to Shaded Ruins, this is the way to go to Shrine of Winter, but there's some items you can pick up, which you might as well pick up at this point because there's like souls and other things, so you might as well do it now.
And it honestly doesn't make a difference anyway. But I mean, it's get out of the way the now. And it is still technically part of Shaded Woods, so we're going to include it anyway. Even though you're not going to, like, after this, you're just going to backtrack back to the bonfire where Creighton was at. But it is still technically part of Shaded Woods, so we are going to cover it.
And it's only like a little way anyway.
Yeah, but that's a Ring of Life Protection, the exact same. I'm sure that's like the second one you've got at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So, you know what that does, and of course a soul packet. Now down here is another Flexile Sentry.
Now, with the Flexile Sentry here, you can actually just shoot it with arrows to kill it if you don't want to fight it. It won't even
aggro.
But it's not even difficult at all, so you might as well just fight it.
Yeah, you're in a massive open space, you don't have water to slow down your movement, you're not wading, nothing like that, so you're fine. But as you can see here, you can shoot this thing and it won't even be bothered, so we're just going to poison it. No, we're not actually, we're just shooting it with iron arrows, but yeah, like, that was really just to show you that you can do that. Now, don't go too far down because there is another goblin on the left side, so obviously fighting the goblin and this thing at the same time could be a pain in the ass, and yeah. But it isn't really an issue, and it is incredibly squishy because it's the exact same as the one that was in the boss room, except now you are like 100 levels higher than what you were before.
Now, not only that, just as a quick aside on the topic of Creighton, although we've mentioned it again when we first met him, he is a Malentiable NPC. If you kill him, he'll drop his steel mask, and the rest of his equipment will be sold by Malentia in Majula. So we're just mentioning that every time we come up to one of these kind of NPCs, just to, reinforce it in case you've not watched earlier episodes.
For whatever reason, but yeah. So the item that we got there was actually the Dragon Slayer Crescent Axe. It's not great, to be honest with you. I mean, it probably does have its good uses somewhere, but it's a bearded axe. It does lightning damage by default, much like the Hyde Longsword.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's not something we're going to use anyway.
So here's another just one item. This route. This is before Aldea's Keep,
which is a lot later on in the game.
Yeah, but this is where you can pick up a red Tearstone ring just now if you want. So might as well do it since you don't need to go through anything or whatever.
Now, if you do plan on using the red Tearstone ring, when your health gets down to 30% or lower, you do 20% extra physical damage. Now, the physical part is important because that means it doesn't affect your sorceries like Soul Arrow, Soul Spear. Anything like that, it doesn't affect them, it only affects your physical damage. And it also includes, see, like your infused weapons. It won't add to the infused damage, it'll only add to the base physical damage that they do.
So here we are in the
Shaded Woods.
Yes, so I mean this is the
foggy Shaded Woods
area. Now, what we're going to do is to get the first few items, you just hug the right wall as you come in, and then you'll get the Lloyd's Talisman.
Now be careful here actually, because there are enemies here that are almost completely transparent, at least they're very difficult to see against the foggy backdrop. So just be careful, and they do sneak up and backstab you. They can do a ton of damage, and if you get ganked by more than one of them, then you're probably not going to have a very good time in here.
However, you can angle the camera in certain ways in order to get them to show up slightly better. So that is an option. You know what I mean? Like, you can see them sort of. Also, if you hit them once, their health bar will show up. So,
for a brief moment.
I mean, it stays up for quite a while, long enough that you should be able to hit them consecutively and be able to kill them.
So we're going to take advantage of the fact that the halberd has horizontal swings as well.
Yeah.
So as you've seen there, when they die, they like burst into like a quick shaded outline sort of thing, but that's what they look like. So just be careful, because they've got crossbows and bows and really, really quick attacks as well. So just be mindful of how difficult this area can be if you're not prepared.
So we're going to continue hugging on to the right wall, and this will take us to the next item, just up this hill actually. And this is the old sun ring. Now that's that ring that
used to be brilliant, but isn't now completely fucking terrible.
It releases a little explosion every time you take enough damage.
Yeah.
So,
but the explosion follows you, so unless you're still within the taking damage range, then it's not going to do anything. Now, you want to do a complete 180.
Yeah, now as you can see, this is us getting the clear bluestone ring. I know it's switched to another clip, but you'll see in a second that the easy way of getting the clear bluestone ring is just
do a 180.
Yeah. Oh, get the old sun ring, turn round, as you can see, there it is there. And
just walk straight to it. We'll show you the actual method here. Do a complete 180 and boom, there's a chest.
Yep, so that's the easy way of getting that. So moving on, this is us back next to the old sun ring. Now we're going to continue hugging, once we've fucking killed this guy, we're going to continue hugging the right side, and the next item will come up to...
There's a cliff face there as well, by the way.
Yeah, so don't hug too much to the right.
Yeah, so there's not like a hidden drop or anything like that there. It is just a dead drop. It's a
it's just a normal drop.
Yeah, it's just a death wall. So the good news about the halberd is that you're doing some significant damage to these guys. You should be able to take them out in about 4 or 5 hits.
And the horizontal swings are very good for being able to, you know...
Yeah, horizontal swings have got a very, very, very wide hitbox, so that's handy. Now, hugging the wall, we're going to come up to our +1 version of the Chloranthy ring, which of course just improves the stamina regen from the first one.
Yeah, so you might as well just equip it now if you were equipping the old Chloranthy ring.
Yeah, so you may as well just trade this out for another one. And I seen that guy, so I was like, I'm going to fucking get him. And I got him.
Yeah, pro plays for days.
Yep.
So continuing to hug the right hand side of the wall will eventually lead you out into
the shaded ruins.
Yeah, so this is like the next part that we'll obviously be going on to.
So we're going to grab this bonfire.
Yeah, so we might as well get the bonfire there now.
So that if we do die, then we're going to spawn right here, and it's a little bit easier to find your orientation, sort of.
Yeah. Or it means if you don't care about the rest of the stuff, then you can just move on.
You can skip ahead a little bit and move on. But at this point, there is one more NPC that we have to speak to before we go any further, as well as there's still a couple of items in the shade. Yes, there are still a couple of items in the fog part of the Shaded Woods to pick up, which is a pain in the ass.
Luckily, nothing of particular importance, but there is items there. So we're going to continue hugging the right wall from this.
From the Shaded Ruins area, yep.
Yeah, and this will then take us to the head of Vengarl NPC. Now, if you want to go straight to him, you can just hug the left wall, and that will
from
take
the entrance, like from the bonfire with Crate, and you can hug the left wall. That will take you straight to Vengarl.
So going up this little hill here that leads off to the side bit, this is how you know that you're at Vengarl's part.
But at this point, I'm just looking around to make sure I'm not being followed by any of these little like hollow, transparent sort of dudes.
Yeah.
But that's a fire seed, which you can take to Rosabeth or Carillion to upgrade your Pyromancy Flame, which we're not using.
So you want to exhaust Vengarl's
dialogue, something raw. Just exhaust it. He will give you his helmet, and he also sells a few things, like he sells the claymore, he sells the greatsword, and he also sells infinite gold pine resin.
Yeah, so that's obviously incredibly handy.
Very useful, because a lot of bosses are either weak to or neutral to lightning.
He also becomes a summon for a few bosses if you do that. Yeah. So that's something to keep in mind.
2 bosses off the top of my head, the final boss in the game and the Ancient Dragon, for whatever reason, you know, if you just want to... Is it the Ancient Dragon or is that Benhart?
I'm not sure, but regardless, we don't summon anyone for the Ancient Dragon anyway.
Yeah. So another item, so from Vengarl, just go straight ahead.
Yeah, just straight ahead and that gets you another item. So here we are back at
Vengarl.
Vengarl again. Now there's another item from here,
yeah,
which is try running. That was the item that we just picked up. Try running straight forward from there. You'll see this big tree.
And if you get close to a cursed pot,
yeah. So as you can see, if you can kind of work it out, as kind of
go
forward.
to the tree and then take a left. There's a cursed pot, and you just got to keep going to this area. And so this is the cursed pot again, by the look of it.
And near there you can see it's an amber herb. You can
it's
actually
just
see the
laying
amber herb
around.
from the cursed pot.
Yeah, it's just laying around near the cursed pot. These trees will get faces on them, by the way, so just a sort of fun factoid to throw in there. If you hit the trees, you will hear the tree groan.
Yeah.
They are not the Ents from Lord of the Rings. They will not lead the hobbits to Isengard. They will not do any of that shit. They'll just whinge and bitch about shit, probably.
So that's how you get the amber herb. So that's really not a big issue. Now here is how you get. There's a soul packet, which is completely on the other side, but if you're at the entrance, you can actually see...
Yeah, you can see it in the distance through the fog, like it clips straight through and boom, there it is.
Yep, so that's all the items in the foggy area, so that's us just back to the bonfire now.
Yeah, so an area that was once a pain in the ass for us to navigate after sifting through, and maybe 20-30 minutes of walking around footage, we've actually found it.
Yeah.
Now, there's a jump here that saves you using a fragrant branch of yore.
Yeah, so you
which
just
is
jump
hilarious.
down here, and there's an item around
Black
here.
Knight. It's a Black Knight weapon, I think.
You can get the Black Knight when you jump back, but this here is
Twilight herb,
yeah,
Soul of a Brave Warrior.
So not that bad. It's worth doing the jump for.
Yeah, but that's the guy that you don't have to fragrant branch of yore, actually. So he's there for no reason.
You'll see later on when we come back round that you don't need to do it at all.
And this is the Black Knight Greatsword. Black Knight Halberd.
So obviously fragrant branches of yours are relatively rare in the game, and you want to be able to save as many of them as possible. So obviously we show you how to keep as many fragrant branches of yore without wasting them.
The good news is you're only going to use 2 fragrant branches of yore coming from Majula to do everything we want, but there are 3 things you have to fragrant branch of yore. But the good news is that the last thing you use a fragrant branch of yore on gives you a fragrant branch of yore back.
Yeah.
So it's as long as you have one, it's free.
So you need to kill this guy to get the Fang key item,
which you need to open the door to get to Weaponsmith Ornifex, who we've mentioned a few times in videos. She is one of the boss soul NPCs, where you buy a load of boss weapons.
There's Strayed and then there's her.
Yep.
So we got the Fang key there. These guys actually hit really hard, but they're incredibly easy to dodge. So you just want to try and get around them and backstab them. That's your main way of wanting to take care of these guys. Now down here is some magic bolts or arrows. Either way, we probably not really
going to use the magic bolt, so it's crossbow, so we're not going to use that because crossbow damage cannot be modified by your stats in any way whatsoever.
Yep.
So we're not going to do that. Now, coming out of the Shaded Ruins, we're just going to go straight left. Now, what you can do that we've discovered recently is that if you stand in this doorway, because there's a lot of lions coming at you, if you stand in this doorway, they actually cannot get through. One sometimes finds a way to clip its way through, but that's only one line you have to deal with, so that's not a problem.
Yeah, so you can round them all up and then just attack them through the doorway. We actually do it in this video.
Iron arrows are required for this, because you need iron arrows to break the pot that's above the door, otherwise it will perpetually curse you.
Yeah, and you can't use wood arrows.
Yeah, wood arrows don't work. You can use iron arrows, you can use great arrows.
But anything other than wood will work. So as you can see, you can't get into the doorway, so that's quite a weird thing, but it's a thing regardless.
So I mean, you can use that over and over again. You can bait the lions back there.
So we're going to pick up some more items before we go down to Man Scorpion Tark, which was a bit below where
Yeah, which is who you need the Ring of Whispers for.
Yeah.
Because you can't talk to him unless you have the Ring of Whispers, because that's a fun thing to put in the game.
Well, I kind of like that kind of shit personally, but whatever.
I just don't see the point in having to spend souls to speak to an NPC.
So anyway, now, okay, right, we're going to get the item that is above the walkway that we're just on. So you want to jump over here.
Jump, and it's Titanite Chunk.
Yep.
In this wooden chest. Now, because it's a wooden chest, what that means is you can farm this via the use of bonfire aesthetics.
If you want.
If you want to. We don't recommend it because you get more than enough Titanite chunks as the game goes through anyway. They're very easy to farm, which you can farm actually from the enemies in the next area reasonably fucking well.
Personally, we don't like using bonfire aesthetics to farm things because it ends up fucking all your next New Game Plus runs. For example,
yeah, because when you go into NG Plus, every single bonfire intensity goes up by 1, which means if you've got something sitting on bonfire intensity 7, but all the rest of your bonfires in bonfire intensity 1,
it's got to fuck the balancing up really badly.
If you go into NG plus 1, that means all your bonfires will be at 2, but that one you had at 7 will be at 8, so that will be an NG plus 7 equivalent bonfire area, which is awful. Just awful. So these guys are quite easy to take care of, as we mentioned.
Now, these guys are Lion Warriors.
Yeah. Now, what the Lion Warriors drop is they have a chance to drop their entire armor set, They can drop the Great Axe, they can drop the Lion Clan Shield, as well as they can drop Triclops, Snake Crotches, and there is one later on that can drop unique armor. It's the only one in the game that can drop this armor.
Yeah.
When it dies, it's dead forever. So
No, I don't think it does. It does respawn, but it's the guy that's just below here. Actually, it's the only one of them, and he drops the red lion.
That's
armor.
what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
that's the one I'm talking about. I don't think he respawns, does he?
I'm pretty sure he does.
Right.
Yeah, he does because you have to farm it off him. So.
Ah, well, fair enough. But yeah, which means you can do it 12 times before you have to bonfire aesthetic.
Yeah. Anyway, I mean the red line stuff and the normal line stuff doesn't actually have really much difference. I think
It does. Red Line Warrior Cape has better fashion souls.
Oh, yeah.
And that matters. Like,
now there is Lion Mages. No, there's a Lion Mage set, but you pick that up.
yeah, you pick that up later on. That's the one we're talking about where you get your Fragrant Branch on your back.
Yeah. So this is the guy that
The
drops
Golden
the red
Lion.
set.
Yeah, he drops his chest piece and he can drop the Red Line head dress as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the only enemy in the game that will drop either one of these items. We hoped we would get footage of it, but we didn't. But this is the one we were talking about at the start of this Shaded Ruins sort of part, where he's the guy you don't actually need to Fragrant Branch. They put up the illusion of you need to Fragrant Branch this guy to get the item, but you can just run and jump like we did at the start.
Exactly. So there's absolutely no need for that. Now we're going to equip the Ring of Whispers, and now we can talk to this guy. Now he looks pretty mean, but he is a really useful NPC because he will give you a Fragrant Branch of Yore later on.
Yep. He will also give you a second Dragon Ring, which is like its effect is pretty much the same as the Ring of Favour and Protection, but it's not as potent.
Yeah, it is
basically.
It's the better one of the one that we're already wearing anyway.
I don't think we're wearing first Dragon Ring.
And
at all.
then we get the third Dragon Ring later on in the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, in
wait.
fact the first Dragon Ring's a Covenant reward tournament.
Yeah, exactly. So you can't get that unless you're playing through Covenants, and you're going to waste your time doing
Yeah, so
that.
we're not again Covenant guide later on,
Yeah.
but not right now.
So now we're just going to make our way back because that's us done with this section. It's time for us to move on to round where the massive Basilisk was. Now these guys do drop Petrified Dragonbone. These large Basilisk do drop Petrified Dragonbone.
Yeah.
They're quite easy to fight. You just bait out the fucking petrification puff thing.
Hit
the
twice
petrified
and
puff.
then just go back in.
Yeah.
You can obviously use bow and arrow if you want.
Yeah.
But he might get aggroed. We never actually tested that, but if he gets aggroed, just fight him.
He walks towards you, but like it doesn't do a lot of damage because of how much you've upgraded your Drangleic armor. So I mean, if you're following us anyway, your Drangleic armor is going to be a reasonable upgrade. So don't have to worry too much about this guy.
Yeah, obviously stay away from his petrify attack. If you end up getting petrified, then again just stop playing the game because you're really, really, really bad. But
yeah.
There you go, that's him dead. Now,
And there you go, we dropped the Petrified Dragonbone.
now there's a few items in
Still
this area as
laying
well.
around, so you want to run around, break that cursed pot because cursed pots are bad, okay?
Yep, you don't want to
And-
get cursed.
No, not at all. Because, well, I suppose we should explain. Cursing in this game is the exact same as dying, basically, where you don't actually die, but your maximum HP is reduced.
And it makes you hollow as well.
Yeah, it has the same hollowing effect, although once you reach maximum hollowization, I suppose, it's the exact same as being poisoned, where it just keeps chipping away at your health until you get out of the area. Basically, until you get away from the pot, so you want to avoid that, of course.
Yeah.
And yeah, another Faris Stone and another Soul Packet just kicking about up here because, fuck it, we're just going to throw money at you.
Okay, so the ground will collapse in this that item over there, so you want to
Yeah.
watch out here. You don't
Just
want
be
to,
careful.
You can fall down this hole. There's another hole that you can fall down to.
It is more beneficial to go down
Yeah,
that way.
because if you fall down that hole, it means for more backtracking. So just avoid falling down this one, and we'll show you the one where you want to fall down.
Yeah, if you just hug the left and sprint, you make it past that, no problem at all anyway.
And all for epoxy life gem.
Yep. So we're going to take out as many cursed pots as we can near these lion guys, 'cause it just gives us a little bit more room to work with if we have to avoid them. I went for the parry because I wanted to know if you could. You can, I just didn't, and now I'm getting fucked up for it. So yeah guys, don't take any risks.
So
'cause
these guys hit harder than the Basilisk actually.
these guys hit harder than the Rotten.
Yeah, they do a lot of damage, but they can be
Yeah.
backstabbed incredibly easily, so you shouldn't really have an issue with these guys.
Yeah, I mean they're not too chunky. Like they don't have a shit ton of HP. You can take them out no problem.
So
Don't
here's
worry
the
about
place where if you use a Fragrant Branch of Yore on this guy, there's a chest just behind him.
Which holds the Lion Mage set, which pretty much all of it has an effect. Like I believe the leggings are
Everything
the
but
same
the
as
headpiece.
yeah, like
They increase your spell casting speed.
yeah, Pretty much, yeah. Like the leggings, the gloves, and the cape.
Yeah.
All increase your spellcasting speed. Individually, they're not very good, but I suppose stacked with the clear bluestone ring plus 2.
That's the most you're going to get.
That is really the most you're going to get, as well as if you wear the black hood. Because
Yeah.
that increases your spellcasting speed as well, which you get the black hood from Strayed, which I believe we've probably already got at this point.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, so there you go, guys. And there's your Fragrant Branch of Yore as well as the Lion Mage set.
Yeah, so I quite like that bit there where it's like, oh, do I use a Fragrant Branch of Yore on just this one guy, and then it gives you one anyway, so it's kind of like, you took the risk and it paid off kind of thing, but...
Yeah, but then after you're like, fuck you, you may make a horrible decision that wasn't actually a horrible decision.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that could have been your last Fragrant Branch of Yore, and I'm sure a lot of people haven't done it because they're like, I don't want to use my last branch on this because there might be something really important later on that I need one for. But they got ya.
Yep. So now we just quickly check here in case there's like an item randomly lying about, but there's a hole in the floor around here which you drop down into.
Yeah, it's not hard to miss. It's the slightly highlighted bit of grass, and this I believe is a sorcery.
Yep, and it's I think it's Homing Soulmass.
And this is the second time you will run into Dark Diver Grindal. Once again, just talk to him, exhaust his dialogue, and move on.
Again, if you kill him now, he will drop the Dragon
Chime as well as 6,000 souls.
But you want him to join the Pilgrim of the Dark Covenant, and you need to talk to him 3 times in the game. The last one was in the last video, and there's this time and there's a time in Drangleic Castle, and once you talk to him 3 times, he will allow you to join his covenant. And
for those of you who don't watch our videos or are new here or whatever, the last video was in the Black Gulch when you use the Forgotten Key to access his room.
Yeah.
Now be careful in this area as well, by the way, because the Basilisk can petrify you, as well as those little pools in the bottom are
acid.
Like, yeah, it's acid, they break your gear, so just be careful. And this is Ornifex, you'll probably recognise her from Dark Souls 1. Don't worry, she's not hostile, but she will move on to the next area, basically after you've defeated the boss. She will move on to Sildora, where you trade her various boss souls for various boss weapons and such.
Yeah.
Quite handy. She also sells infinite fire arrows, which is very handy. Very handy indeed. So we're just going to rest at the bonfire, get all the Estus back, repair all our gear, shit like that, and then we're moving on to the boss.
Yep. So if you spoke to Man-Scorpion Tark, he will allow you to be a summon for the boss coming up. Now the boss coming up is incredibly easy, but
yeah,
you don't really need him as a summon.
There's also a funny thing you can do where she has a particular tail attack that after her tail hits the ground, you can run up her back and get on top of her.
Really?
I found that out last night when I was streaming. But
cool.
By last night I mean Monday. I need you to move because I need to get my laptop charger now.
Yep. So,
moving quite along, as you can see, we just ran past everything because these Lion Mage guys will actually stop aggro. As soon as you go near the boss gate, their aggro leash pulls them back.
Yeah.
Summon Man Scorpion Tark. Now, before we enter the boss room, the next boss you're fighting is Najka. Najka is weak to lightning. She's weak to fire. She is strong against magic and neutral to lightning and dark. So, don't even fucking worry about her. Now, you can't do any damage to her while she's on the ground, and we're going to show you us beating her by ourselves first of all.
In true GheyForGames style, we'll show you.
We hit her there because it's funny to just like.
But you can't actually do any damage.
Yeah, look, you'll see her health bar pop up. Oh no, you can apparently. So it turns out the wiki is a lie. I'll need to edit that. But yeah, so we're trying to bait her to break this down because it's the only way to do this is to get her to attack, and now I'm stuck in a fucking corner because she won't do the attack that I need her to do to break the fucking branch.
Now the issue with this is that it's a flame butterfly.
It's not even worth it because we've got like 15 of them at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm pointlessly chugging through Estes throughout this fight because she won't do the fucking attack that I need her to do so that she'll break the branch for me. Oh god. So
still not doing it.
Yeah, still not doing it. We're actually left this entire video file in raw so that you guys can see just how much effort is required to get something that's not worth it.
So another thing is she can dig into the ground. Now if you stand on this little stone platform, she can't actually hurt you. So
just to make you guys aware as well, she has a homing crystal soul spear attack thing where she has like 5 soul spears up here above her head. She can cast that and then dive under the ground, and the fucking soul spears still stay above ground and can still target you.
Really? I've never seen that.
Yes. It's like, see this attack here? She can dive underground and she can still target you while those soul spears are fucking... Yeah.
So you probably want to equip your highest magic defense shield. Maybe, like, if she's somehow giving you a problem.
But you need her to use her tail to break these, or you need her to come up out of the sand in a dive to break it as well. So this is why we're having so much fucking trouble just trying to get this flame butterfly. Like, it's not worth it. It's so close. Just at this point I remember sitting here going, just break the fucking tree. Just break the fucking tree. And also, this is apparently a one-way only street. You can go round it that way, but you can't go back. And look at that. She missed it. She missed it. I was so fucking pissed.
There we go. I think she got it there.
No,
she fucking didn't.
No, this is what I'm talking about. This is why this part annoyed me. At this point, I've just gave up and went, fuck it. I'm standing here. She can come out
just
the sand
take the hit.
Yeah, it's not worth taking the hit, but at this point, it's the only way I'm going to be able to beat her and have any Estus left to actually fight her. So, yeah. This entire ordeal for the flame butterfly is just a giant pain in the ass. And it's not worth it at all. But look,
now we can actually fucking fight her.
Yep, and if she'd have done that at the start,
that's the attack we needed.
If she'd have done that tail attack at the start, you know what would have happened? We'd have the flame butterfly, I would have had 12 Estus, would have been good. But no, now I've got 3 because she's a bitch.
And that's fine. So, right, okay, her attacks are... She's really incredibly easy to dodge, honestly, especially her tail... Not that one. That one, I think that one might be an unblockable. Maybe
it isn't unblockable. I tried to block it last night with a +10 Great Shield. It's unblockable.
But her downward pokey tail attacks will never hit you. They will never fucking hit you.
Yeah, these ones here, you shouldn't have any problem. You can also cut off her tails, by the way.
Can you?
Yes, you can cut them off.
Huh.
I found it fucking hilarious when I did it. I was like, holy shit. You know what's really funny about it? She still acts like they're there.
So like they're on.
If you cut off both of her tails, she will still go for the sort of one tail, then the follow-up tail attack after it. And just on a note, by the way, see how her tail swipe is very easy to telegraph. If you just get like right fucking in next to her, she can't hit you. Like, we're not doing it here, but you just get like right up against her, and she can't hit you if you stay really close to her. Roll towards like the sort of, I don't even know what you would call that, like the sort of middle part of her scorpion-like body thing. Just roll into that, and she can't actually hit you.
So her normal weapon swing attacks are incredibly weak, and I'm pretty sure you can block them. And
yeah, you can.
They generally probably won't even hit you, really, so you can just hit her from the front and just watch out for her tail and magic. That's pretty much it.
You can also stun her.
She isn't hard.
Like, you can also stun her as well, by the way. Like, see if you're using some heavy duty magic like soul spears, which you actually won't have at this point anyway, but if for whatever reason you do, now those attacks are the hardest ones. That was the fucking Crystal Soul Spear Soul Shiver thing.
Yeah.
Crystal Soul Spear Homing Soul Mass, as well as just another Soul Spear fired at me at once.
So, once you kill her, you'll get Soul of Najka, which you can trade to Ornifex for Soul Shower, which used to be shit and is now kind of good.
It's still, I still don't like it, to be honest.
Not only that, now in my testing, she was completely immune to poison. I fired so many poison arrows into her and she just did not get poisoned.
Yeah.
So clearly, even if she can be poisoned, it's not worth trying.
Yeah, now that Crystal Soul Spear barrage sort of attack she uses there is really easy to telegraph. She uses her fucking spear staff thing, holds it like a bow. It's quite easy to see, and at this point we are going to try and warp out because I think we've shown pretty much all of her moves at this point.
Yeah.
Other than that one tail attack I'm talking about where she she sort of raises her ass a little bit and then slams her tail down and slams it again and then slams both of them down like in the middle once again.
Does a scorpion have an ass, technically?
It has to shit from somewhere. When her tails hit the ground, if you're behind her, you can, like, when the third tail lands, there's a big enough delay, like, on her recovery, you can run up her tails and onto her back and you can just stand there.
Huh.
It's hilarious. She can't do anything about it.
So Tark is actually incredibly useful for this fight. Again,
I mean, take that with a grain of salt because he's only about as useful as Najka is difficult, which really isn't difficult at all.
Yeah.
What he does do, however, though, is he takes the brunt of all of our magic, which is easily our most frightening aspect of the boss fight. So yeah, we're not even going to buff for this fight because she's fucking easy. But what I was saying earlier on is if you're using some heavy duty magic, see if you keep your lock on focused on her body, you can stun her quite quickly with some like high poise breaking spells like Great Lightning Spears or Sunlight Spears or anything like that. You can sort of damage her if you're using Soul Spear or Crystal Soul Spear somehow, whatever, I don't know, maybe you hack the game, whatever. But yeah, like, you can stun her. Great arrows, like, it's not the same as Quailag, where if you headshot her with a regular bow, you could infinitely stun lock her.
Yeah.
It's not the same as that. Like, they managed to resolve that And the reason why I like that attack is that Tark actually looks for her through the sand with his little claws.
Huh.
Like, actually looks for her. See, I don't know if she's under the sand and he hits her. I'm not sure if he can, like, rip her out the sand or anything, but I mean, she's not. Even if he did, what's it matter? It's fucking easy.
He's really going to town on her as well. Like, he is really pulling his weight against.
Yeah,
like,
he's like
hitting her.
hyper aggressive. I mean,
and just took all that as well. So
yeah, that's the whole point in Tark is he's to be a sort of scorpion-like meat shield.
Yeah. So I mean, really, you might as well summon Tark because he makes this boss incredibly easy.
Yeah,
and
she is quite simple.
That's pretty much Najka in a nutshell.
Yeah. But the only summon you have available for Najka is Tark. Now, the first clip you've seen is take her on by ourselves with restricted Estus because we're trying to get the goddamn flame butterflies. But, in fact, we didn't pick them up, but we told you they were there, so that still counts as getting every item in the fucking game.
Yeah.
For you guys, anyway, it does.
But technically, we picked it up as we walked in. Like, we walked in and we just grabbed it when she was down in the ground.
Ah, well, fair enough then. Well,
so, here we are in the next area, Doors of Faris, which is kind of like Grave of Saints in terms of the use of this area in the game, but we're not going to do Doors of Faris right now. That'll be in the next video.
Yeah, all we're doing right now is we're just getting to the bonfire
Yeah.
and getting anything in between. I think, in fact, I don't even think we touch items in between. I'm not 100% sure, but that was a Mastodon. We'll go over them in the next video, what it is that they drop. I mean, there is only 2 of them in Doors of Faris. They're not in the game much, and this is a Gurm Knight or Warrior or whatever. I just killed him because I had to take my frustration out on something after that flame butterfly bullshit.
So you can pick up some prism stones there from that dead body. Now
And this is a mimic.
Is the first mimic in the game.
No.
Oh no, it isn't.
Iron Keep.
Yeah, okay, cool. It was the first mimic we came to.
Yeah, because we've
in our
done
first
this area
playthrough, yeah.
before the Iron Keep in our blind run, but look, it's fucking easy. Two two-handed hits, and you get the Black Scorpion Stinger, which is it's a rapier, as well as you got
A part of the
dark armor, which if you put it on, you'll immediately recognise it from probably the better game Dark Souls 1, where it's the Dark Wraith armor.
So we are going to travel back now to the first bonfire in the Shaded Ruins.
Well, yeah, the third bonfire is Shaded Woods.
Yeah.
Because it's all sort of coupled in together as Shaded Woods anyway,
Yeah.
so that's why we put it in that area, because it's under that same bonfire grouping.
So what we're going to do is we're going to quickly run back to Man Scorpion Tark because
we need to tell him that both of us beat Najka, so he can give us stuff.
yeah. So after you beat Najka, he'll give you a fragrant branch of yore, and then
So-
later on after Sildora, after you beat the Jukesteer Fraser boss, he will give you the second dragon ring.
So the one thing I realised, like if you work it out, you total it up. So you used 1 fragrant branch for Rosabeth, 1 fragrant branch to get Ornifex, 1 fragrant branch to get your Lion Mage set. All right. You got the 1 back from the Lion Mage set, so that takes you down to 2 fragrant branches of your down, and then Tark gives you 1. So only really cost you a single fragrant branch of yore to go through this entire area. By the time you finish it, you're only down 1 fragrant branch of yore. So there you go, guys. That is it for Shaded Woods. It's
There's
so
also
easy.
one more thing: is if you kill Tark, he will drop the second dragon ring.
Yeah,
So you could just kill him right now, and
because it doesn't serve any further purpose in the game. You can kill him, you get a sin point for doing it, but that does fuck all in the game anyway.
Yeah.
Also, what I found out is the next boss, not the next boss, sorry, the first boss in Sildora that you fight, above that boss is where Oswald is, the guy who gets rid of your sin points.
Yeah.
Your first one is free. So you can kill Tark, and it has no consequence because it doesn't cost you anything to remove that sin point. So don't even worry about it, like seriously, kill him if you fucking want to.
yeah.
He serves no purpose, he's not entirely difficult, you can plunging attack him from right above and do like a chunk of damage immediately, so there really is no reason to leave him alive at this point other than as a thank you for helping you beat a relatively easy boss. So
Yeah, pretty much that. So as you saw,
loads of soul packets.
Yep, picked up soul packets, and now we're pretty much just gonna
A
level up, really.
ridiculous amount of soul packets. So I'm just going to quickly double check all our notes here and make sure that we haven't actually missed anything. Now I am very confident in the fact that we haven't missed anything. So Ring of Whispers, Tark, Fragrant Branches, yeah, we're good. We got it.
So remember to use your Estus Flask shard because you picked one up.
Yep.
I picked 2 up, I think, actually.
Yeah,
we did.
Yeah, we did. 1 at the first bonfire of Shaded Woods and 1 in Ornifex's room. So yes, that's 2 extra Estus.
And now we're just going to level up. So at this point we will have enough to level up and get 28 strength, so we can one-hand the great sword and a shield, and then the rest will be put into adaptability from now on. Oh no,
no, it isn't. It's intelligence and faith, so we can get dark weapons original minimum stats, so we get the full minute-long duration.
Yeah. And then it's on adaptability.
Yeah, then it's just spend it what you want. And of course, Sublime Bone Dust.
Important,
yeah. Where did we get the Sublime Bone Dust?
We actually picked it up before the Rotten, so we should have used the Sublime Bone Dust at the beginning of this episode.
Yeah, so that's the one you get after you kill the Rotten, yeah.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it, really, for this entire area.
So we're just looking at our inventory right now to see what it is that we've got, and most of this is drops, not gonna lie, but for Boltstone, this is in case you want to take the build in a different route, I suppose. If you do want to use any of this, then you can get these objects. These are all acquirable by this point in the game.
Yeah.
So you can do what you want. Just look up in the wiki how to get get each part of the stone that you want. You can fucking do it. It's real easy.
So at this point, this was actually just us going through the menus. It wasn't really part of anything, but that is it for this video. That is the final stats for this part of the guide, and in the next part, it's
the next part is
Doors of
Faris, which is an area where you are presented with many Faris contraptions, but you only need to use 2 of them.
Yep. So that's it for this video. As ever, if you want to watch the Black Gulch video, then click left box, and if you want to watch the Doors of Faris video, click the right box.
Of course, as you can see at the top of the screen, we do have a donation link in the channel in the description for this video, but guys, don't worry about that. You've watched the video, you can leave a like, a comment, you can even subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That is more than enough. And yeah, as you can see, Facebook and Twitter are on there. We update them on a regular basis, and Twitch is something you guys will have to make a Twitch stream at some point, because they're absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for part 15. We hope you enjoyed it, we hope it was informative, and we'll see you in the next part, guys.
See you guys later.
Bye.